All right, so first things first, to kick off today's cannabis-powered yet sports-driven talk show. It's hard to deny the positive effect that cannabis has had on sports in the past and sports today as we know it. Cannabis is a part of sports whether you like it or not. Alright, so first things first, to kick off today's cannabis-powered yet sports-driven talk show. It's hard to deny the positive effect that cannabis has had on sports in the past and sports today as we know it. Cannabis is a part of sports whether you like it or not.
The Fantasy Football Huddle, presented by the Huddle Chat Sports Show and your host, Dallas Clark, also known as Indo is my Nindo. Everybody huddle up, grab a piece of paper, and get settled in. It's just about time for the Fantasy Football Huddle, presented by the Huddle Chat Sports Show and your host, Indo is my Nindo. Let's
What is happening, baby? Welcome back to the Huddle Chat Sports Network's live pregame NFL kickoff show. Today, we're going to be discussing some of those last-minute inactives in today's game, some of those last-minute injuries. We're also going to be talking about some parlays that might be able to help you pay your rent this month. We're also going to be talking about some last-minute lineup advice, so make sure you drop in those comments below. Let us know what information that you need for your lineup this morning. Unless your name is Elijah, he can't get no more information from me because that motherfucker he be taking my information and trying to beat me with it. I can't help him anymore, man. I'm out on you, Elijah. I'm letting you know that now if you're watching. But anyway, y'all, thanks for tuning in. First thing we're going to be talking about today is going to be the Thursday night football game. It was a pretty interesting game. You had the Jets coming out on top. There was a couple of interesting things like the Jets wide receiver or backup running back, I guess, dropping the ball while running into the end zone. Definitely was not great for his first NFL touchdown to get ruined by that. And then you're also looking at Garrett Wilson catching that pass. whereas Shin landed inbounds, but his knee landed out of bounds. And then you looked at them calling it a complete pass and a touchdown because apparently the shin and knee are both separate entities that equal 2 feet. I know that it wouldn't have been a complete pass if it was if he was on his feet, if the toes landed in bounds and the heels landed out of bounds, it would have been an incomplete pass. That's the only thing I'm hung up on. I don't really care about the George Pickens catch from last week. I'm not a Steelers fan, so I'm not going to be crying about that pass last week. But I personally feel like with the shin landing inbounds and the knee landing out of bounds, that's one whole entity there, that shin and knee area, even though one shin is 2 feet and one knee is 2 feet. Well, I mean, if we're looking at 4 feet on the same leg, 2 feet landed in bounds and 2 feet landed out of bounds at the same time. I personally think it should have been incomplete pass. You let me know what you think is going on with it. What's happening, baby? Shouts out to Miss Dysfunctional. Thank you for tuning in this morning. I love you. What's happening, baby? But like I said, guys, that Garrett Wilson catch, I'm not tripping about it. I'm not a George Pickens owner in fantasy football, and I'm not a Steelers fan, so it's not really. I'm not really hung up on it too terribly much. But I'm just wondering what we're gonna do about that, because it's been a big topic of conversation. So it's got me wondering what they're gonna do about the catch rule. And yet another year in 2024, we're talking about what is a catch and what isn't a catch. Before we get into today's games, I'm going to start off with a nice touchdown parlay for you guys. You can turn $25 into $1,000 if you put these parlays in right now. You're looking at Jamar Chase scoring a touchdown. This is going to be a touchdown parlay to start the day off with you guys today. Looking at Jamar Chase scoring a touchdown with the Cincinnati Bengals today in a great matchup. You're looking at CeeDee Lamb being the only thing that the Dallas Cowboys have that's worth anything right now. And CeeDee Lamb, I mean, basically their whole game plan lately has been hand the ball to Dalvin Cook or Rico Dowdle on first down, throw it to CeeDee Lamb, maybe throw it to somebody else if they get the first down. The Cowboys are trash, but CeeDee Lamb is still possibly one of the best wide receivers in fantasy football and in football right now. So you're looking at CeeDee Lamb being in for a touchdown today. You got Jamar Chase, you got CeeDee Lamb. I'm also going James Cook to score a touchdown today as well. I'm looking at Alvin Kamara scoring a touchdown in today's matchup, and Travis Kelce on Monday Night Football, finishing things off with you against a team that is allowing top 3 touchdowns to tight ends this season. That's going to turn $25 into $1,000 right now. That's a 5-leg touchdown parlay for you. It's that simple for you guys today. If you need some more parlays, we're going to be giving some more out a little bit later, so make sure you stay tuned. Let's go through each one of these games. I'm going to give you guys who I think is going to win, and then we're going to get into some of these late inactives. I know a couple of really surprising ones have already hit. Amari Cooper, I was not expecting to be out. You're looking at Jalen McMillan from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers being questionable until Monday Night Football, so you might be convinced to make a move with Jalen McMillan right now in your roster. But other than that, let's get up some on this New Orleans-Carolina game while I pull up this injury information. A New Orleans-Carolina game, you're looking at Derek Carr making his return this week, and I don't think he's going to light it up in the yardage aspect, but I do think Derek Carr should get into the end zone at least twice today. You're looking at Derek Carr putting up 20 fantasy football points the last time he played the Carolina Panthers, but you're looking at the Carolina Panthers on the other side of the football with now Bryce Young still at quarterback this week, Andy Dalton not fully recovered. They're missing now Deontay Johnson, so you're looking at Xavier Legette really going to be in for a big game today as he tries to vie for that number 1 wide receiver role here in this offense. I definitely think that New Orleans, with Derek Carr coming back, can really put up a good fight, but you're looking at them really struggling to find an identity since that craziness that they had at the beginning of the season. So you're looking at the New Orleans Saints, and I told you guys as it was happening, when it was coming down the line those first couple of weeks, that this New Orleans Saints offense was more than likely going to get kind of a reality check and brought back down to earth at some point, and we've already been experiencing it. Everybody's wondering what happened to the New Orleans Saints. They are who we thought they were, ladies and gentlemen. There's no surprises here. We're going to be moving on to the Washington-New York Giants game. You're looking at Jaden Daniels supposed to be having a big game today. Brian Robinson Jr. is going to be out of this game, so that's going to be a big game for Austin Eckler. Every time Brian Robinson Jr. is out of the lineup for the Washington Commanders, you're looking at Austin Eckler really doing well at kind of jumping in on his opportunity and running with it, with no pun intended. So I think Austin Eckler has a big game today. Terry McLaurin has been on a tear, and it's honestly great to see Terry McLaurin, who hasn't been a diva. He hasn't complained at all in his entire career, and he's had some of the worst quarterback situations of any wide receiver in the NFL. It's great to see Terry McLaurin finally getting good quarterback play and seeing what it can do for Terry McLaurin, and it's doing great things. I'm big on Terry McLaurin today. Zach Ertz should also have a pretty decent game against this New York Giants linebacker core. On the other side of the football, though, man, who do you really trust that's not named Malik Neighbors right now in the New York Giants? Please drop in the comments and let me know if you trust anybody not named Malik Neighbors, because I certainly don't at the current moment. Moving on to Miami Buffalo, I'm tempering expectations on Jalen Waddle today. You're looking at Jalen Waddle. I really need to see something from Jalen Waddle before I can put him back into must-start category. Also, it does not help that the Buffalo Bills secondary is the best portion of their defense this season. So I'm definitely staying away from Jalen Waddle. Tyreek Hill should still perform. I think Raheem Mostert is in for a big game. He's been slowly chipping away at the production for Devon Achane. He's been getting the majority of the goal line work, majority of the important third down plays as well. So you're looking at Raheem Mostert, I think, today being the day, especially if Raheem scores a touchdown. Raheem Mostert could outscore Devon Achane in today's game. But I do think Miami is going to have to do a lot and get creative today and get some other players involved, because like I said, that Buffalo Bills secondary is no joke. Moving on to the Los Angeles Chargers Cleveland Browns game. You're looking at this game probably being fairly boring. You're looking at two offenses that have really been trying to find an identity. You're looking at the Browns now being post Deshaun Watson. They're finding a little bit of an identity behind Jameis Winston that they didn't really have before with Deshaun Watson. So I'm liking how things are going for the Cleveland Browns. However, now they don't have Amari Cooper. Their best wide receiver is David Njoku. Cedric Tillman has been pretty decent coming up off the waiver wires. But it's hard to trust that Browns offense right now. I feel like this is a must-win game for the Chargers, not necessarily in a rating standpoint or anything like that. But I do think that the Chargers today do need this win, because if the Chargers don't get this win today, you're looking at this being a fairly quick way to look at being one of the worst teams in the NFL is by not being able to beat the Cleveland Browns in their current state. Moving on to New England at Tennessee. I think this is going to be another pretty boring game. You're looking at Willie Mayo versus Drake May. So I do think that Drake May is going to, Drake May has been playing pretty well since coming off the bench and playing for Jacoby Brissett this season. I have been liking Drake May, and I've been liking what he's been doing with this offense. The Tennessee defense is absolutely fucking miserable, so I'm staying away from Tennessee in every aspect of this game. I don't think that the Patriots are going to blow the hinges off of the doors or anything like that today, but I do think the Patriots should win this game. I am starting Tony Pollard for the for the Tennessee Titans today. He's got 5 games so far this season with 90 or more rushing yards. New England has been very generous to running backs this season. And then in the wide receiver position, I like Calvin Ridley a lot. At this point, I think you have to start Calvin Ridley. I know we were afraid of starting him, but since losing DeAndre Hopkins in the last 3 straight games, you're looking at him having 8 targets, 9 targets, and 15 targets in the last 3 straight games. Calvin Ridley is in for a huge game today. I think New England also is allowing top 10 fantasy points per game to wide receivers this season. So I definitely think that Calvin Ridley is going to have a big game, maybe even a multi-touchdown game. And if he has that multi-touchdown game, you're looking at him being a top 15 wide receiver this week. Moving on to America's Game of the Week, most likely the Dallas Cowboys playing. It doesn't matter. They're America's Game of the Week, but they are playing the Atlanta Falcons, and I do think it's going to be a pretty good matchup. I'm excited to see what Kurt Cobangs can do to this just absolutely pitiful, sad sack of Cowboys team that we've been having to be subject to witness this year. I'm a Colts fan, and I can't say much, but goddamn, the Cowboys have just fallen from grace, from all of the hype from Cowboys fans, obviously, to what they are now. It's just absolutely piss poor at what the Dallas Cowboys are this year. Dak Prescott, I'm sitting him if I can in my fantasy football lineup. You're looking at the Cowboys having absolutely no running game at all. Ezekiel Elliott is fucking starving. There's no running game at all to support Dak Prescott. They're the 31st team in running game right now. The Dallas Cowboys are. Ezekiel Elliott has been benched for conduct detrimental to the team, and it's been going on for a few weeks. So now you're just looking at Rico Dowdle and Dalvin Cook. Yuck. You're looking at the Atlanta Falcons have been just locking quarterbacks down, so today is not going to be any different. I think CD has a good game, but I don't CD anything happening for fucking the Dallas Cowboys today. The Dallas Cowboys are trash, and the Atlanta Falcons are flying away with a victory today. You heard it here first, Cowboys fans. Suck it, just like your team does. Now, moving on into the Las Vegas Raiders Cincinnati Bengals game, you're looking at starting Chase Brown today, obviously with Zach Moss being out. You're looking at Chase Brown getting double-digit carries in the 5 straight games leading up to this, and you have a good matchup, and Zach Moss is out of the lineup. Chase Brown should have a good game today. On the rest of it, though, you're looking at Joe Burrow, of course, against this Raiders defense. You're feeling pretty good about Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. There is still no T. Higgins, I believe, right now. We still are waiting for this injury report to come in fully from all the teams so I can give you guys the information. So I will be giving you an update on that T. Higgins information in just one moment. And then the last morning game we're going to be talking about is going to be the Denver Broncos at Baltimore Ravens. I'm starting Bo Nix, man. I told you guys already this week I'm a Bo-lever right now. He's been quarterback 3 since week 5. He's averaging 22 fantasy football points per game. He's got rushing upside. He's a top 4 running back or quarterback in rushing yards right now. You're looking at Baltimore allowing over 300 yards and multiple touchdowns in their last 4 games, 2 quarterbacks. So Bo Nix has everything on the line right now for him to have a good game. I'm also looking at Devon Vele from the Denver Broncos, and I think he's definitely a sleeper that we can go with today. Baltimore has been very generous to slot wide receivers. Bo Nix has been playing well, and he's been Bo Nix's most reliable target. So I'm feeling Devon Vele today. You can definitely surprise some of your league mates by pulling Devon Vele off the waiver wire this morning, throwing him into your lineup, and finding success instantaneously. I will be sitting Zay Flowers, though, if you guys didn't see my startums and sit-ems from yesterday. You're looking at Mike Evans, DK Metcalf, George Pickens, Garrett Wilson, all being shut down by this Denver Broncos defense. I don't think Zay Flowers is going to be the guy to really change that trend. Before we move on to the afternoon games, honestly, we've gone through all the morning games. Don't really need terribly to go into many of the afternoon games, but I am going to go through all of the injuries here. We're going to go alphabetical order by teams. I'm going to be skipping past some of the like linemen and defensive players, mostly the fantasy relevant players we're going to be talking about today. Unless it's like a big defender that's going to be out, that could definitely help out the wide receivers on the other side of the ball. Looking like the Arizona Cardinals not missing anybody crazy. Neither will be the Atlanta Falcons. Let's see here. Looking like a couple of offensive linemen, defensive players from the Baltimore Ravens going to be out today. Buffalo Bills, this is the big one I was talking about, is Amari Cooper is going to be out today with a wrist injury. And I believe that Amari Cooper injury came up kind of late in the week because I don't think there was really anything wrong. When I was looking at Amari Cooper last, I was actually shocked when I saw Amari Cooper was out this morning. Looking at the Carolina Panthers, Jonathan Brooks will be out this week with the knee injury. He should be coming back next week, I believe, though. You're looking at Adam Thielen also still being out on injured reserve, and I believe he is eligible to return next week as well, which will be big for the Carolina Panthers, especially after just losing Deontay Johnson. Going into the Chicago Bears, you're looking at Montez Sweat on the D-line, Zach Pickens on the D-line, Dominique Robinson on the D-line. So the Bears D-line is absolutely just torn to shreds right now. So you're looking at them playing, I believe, I've gone through all the games. I forgot who they were playing. You're looking at Chicago's defensive line being so banged up that I definitely think it's going to be a pretty decent game, especially on the running back side of things for their opponent this week. Moving on to the Cincinnati Bengals, as we've already talked about, T. Higgins is going to be out this week with the quadricep. You're also looking at Zach Moss being out with the neck injury as well. We'll see how long that takes for him to come back. Dallas Cowboys are missing Micah Parsons. Ezekiel Elliott has been suspended from the team. He's not out for any particular reason except for he's a piece of shit. So are the Dallas Cowboys. You're looking at Micah Parsons being out. That's a big loss for the Dallas Cowboys defense as well as Deron Bland. So I definitely think that this Dallas Cowboys defense is going to be down bad, even more than they have been this season. You're looking at on the Denver Broncos side, tight end Greg Dulcich is going to be out, but that's really the only big offensive player, key player that's going to be missing from the Denver Broncos today. You're looking at Detroit Lions linebacker Rodrigo is going to be out with an ankle injury today, but really nothing crazy in particular that's going to affect even their defensive their defense special teams in your fantasy lineup. Green Bay Packers, Josh Jacobs, I believe, is going to be playing now. Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs are playing today. They have been activated. Jair Alexander looks like he is going to be out with a knee injury as well this week. Let me see here. Indianapolis Colts are just missing offensive tackle Bernard Ryman, which is honestly kind of great for the Indianapolis Colts because Bernard Ryman got his fucking ass whooped last week. It was embarrassing to even have him on the field. He was absolutely no help against any of the Houston Texans defenders last week. So honestly, Bernard Ryman could probably just take the week off anyway, and we'd be better off without him. And defensive end Kwity Paye is going to be out. Jacksonville Jaguars still missing Tank Bigsby with the ankle injury. Gabe Davis is possibly done for a pretty long time. Travis Etienne's got the hamstring injury. Christian Kirk has the collarbone injury. Brian Thomas has a chest injury. The Jacksonville Jaguars, my God, they couldn't fight out of a wet paper bag right now. Las Vegas Raiders don't look like they're missing anybody terribly right now. Los Angeles Chargers are missing wide receiver DJ Chark, but he hasn't really been very usable or serviceable this week or this season at all. You're looking at wide receiver Jordan Whittington being out for the Los Angeles Rams. Miami Dolphins, you're looking at, let's see here, Storm Duck, the defensive back, is going to be out with an ankle injury. It's absolutely hilarious. I love that name. Jeff Wilson Jr. is going to be out as well. Minnesota Vikings taking on the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday Night Football. Doesn't look like they're really missing anybody. Offensive lineman Dalton Reisner with a back injury is going to be out, but that's about it. You're looking at the New England Patriots against the Tennessee Titans today. They're going to be having Kyle Duggar out with an ankle, KJ Osborne out as well at the wide receiver position, but that's going to be about it for them. New Orleans Saints, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Marshawn Lattimore are going to be missing today's game. Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Goedert has the hamstring injury. He's going to be missing today's game. Seattle Seahawks, Fent, shout-outs to my fiance, Noah Fent, is going to be out today. Wide receiver DK Metcalf, still having the MCL sprain, is going to be an issue for him today as well. He's not going to be playing. Tennessee Titans, Will Levis, right shoulder. He's not going to be playing, so the Patriots are even in an even worse position than we thought. Tyjae Spears is going to be out with the hamstring. Tight end David Martin Robinson is going to be out, but they really have not been involving their tight ends at all in Tennessee this year. And you're also looking at L'Jarius Sneed having a quad injury for Tennessee this week as well. Washington Commanders, another surprising one that popped up on Saturday was Brian Robinson Jr. with the hamstring injury. He will be missing today's game. Like I said, we're going to be upgrading Austin Eckler because of that. And that's going to be the alphabetical order for all of the teams today, all of their injuries that are going on for this week's lineups as well. Infant gets her every time. I definitely knew that would get her. That's going to be it for today's episode, guys. I'm trying to get through everything nice and quick for you. I promise you guys, when I get my graphics back, I think next week or the week after, things will be a lot more normal back here on the Huddle Chat Sports Network. I've been trying to figure out something to do. I got StreamYard right now. They've had a recent price increase, and I feel like I'm not willing to pay what they are asking me to pay right now, but y'all don't care right about that. Like I said, I'm just going to have those graphics back for you guys next week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's episode. Like I said, let me know if you have any other questions or anything like that. I'll try to get to them as the games are going on, but I'm not very easy to access during the game. So just check out one of the videos, drop in a comment below, but make sure you always keep your chins up and your attitude down, ladies and gentlemen. And I will see y'all next time. Peace out.